Let's get started with today's content. Just a minute, okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, I'm the teacher behind you. We can also hear. Is there a way to?
Yes, yes, wait. I hope now it won't because ma'am has closed the door. Okay, I
Yes,
think,
ma'am. Now, better.
yeah. So today students will going to discuss another concept in Android, that is broadcast receivers. So what are broadcast receiver, and why do we use them, and what are the steps? Okay. So main purpose of this broadcast receiver is to listen or to register for the events in Android application that may occur at any given time. So for that, we'll first have a look at what it is, and how to create and register the receiver class inside our application. Then how to send a broadcast and how to receive a broadcast. Just like how we had sent the intent and received the intent, the same way broadcast can also be sent and received with the help of intent object. So again, I would like to recall here that we had seen the implementation of intent for activity, for launching the activity, and also we had discussed that intent can be used to launch several other Android components. Like apart from activity, you can use intent to launch the broadcast receiver, to launch the services. So now we will be also seeing the intent together with the broadcast receiver, that how it can be used. Okay. So let us first try to understand in a very simple manner what a broadcast receiver is. So you might have come across this kind of experience in your day-to-day usage of your device, mobile Android device. So there you might have seen that when there are some events which is occurring inside your application, the other application also respond to based on that events which has happened. Okay. So the entity or the component which is responsible for responding to those events which are broadcasted, like announced to all the applications which are installed inside the device, is nothing but a broadcast receiver. Okay. So these messages are sometimes known as the events, or we can in a very pure technical term, we will simply call it as intent, because we know that they're all going to be of form intent. So soon we will see how it will be. Okay. So let me give you just one simple small example where you might have seen the usage of broadcast receiver as a user of your phone. Okay. So let me give one small example. Suppose um, whenever all your application which has been installed on your device, and they are in a need to use the internet. Okay. Your internet connection. Okay. So we know that they won't be able to perform any kind of a data connectivity if internet is not there. So but as soon as the device found the internet connectivity being enabled, then it would be like notified to all the other applications which are in use of, or which are in need to use that internet services. So best example I can just give you is like for example a YouTube. Okay. As we all know, YouTube is a video streaming application, and it requires the internet to be enabled or to be running onto your active onto your mobile device. But suppose if internet is not there, then obviously it won't show any data, but yes, you can see some offline data. Now imagine that you had started downloading some video and your internet or your data connectivity has got lost. So what will happen? That internet change state would not only be notified to only YouTube app, but rather to all the like it would be broadcasted and announced in the device to all the, so that all the apps which are of, which are in need of internet will be able to know about that event has happened, that internet is not there karke. So now, likewise, when internet again become enabled or active, from being the disconnected state to connected state. So again, the video which you will, earlier you have put onto the download will get resume, okay? Or you can see that the files which have been downloaded is also notified to the user that the file has been downloaded. So likewise, this small events which are happening inside your device can be treated as a broadcast, okay? So and it has to be broadcasted to the other application or to the system itself, so that if any other application which are in need to take some action depend upon these events, then they can do so, okay? So for example, if you were downloading something and in between the internet has goes off, then you can, I mean, user can be, the application can give a user some meaningful message like, the file cannot be downloaded, the internet connection is interrupted or something like that. And once the user has got back the internet connectivity, then what will happen, some other kind of a notification would be displayed like your file is downloaded, or maybe this file is downloaded and it is available for use. So like our browser application, so whenever the file gets downloaded it would be notified, okay? So notification is a different part, but sometimes we are not even seeing the notification, but some change has happened, some event has occurred, but that event also being broadcasted in a system in such a way that every other application which are in interested, which are interest into that event, they can listen to it, okay? So the component which is responsible to respond to those broadcasted messages or events or intents is nothing but broadcast receiver, okay? So this example also tells the same thing, that suppose if an application is there and it can also initiate a broadcast to let the other, so we can also write one application of our own where we will have some event to be announced, okay? Or we can make our application to act like a broadcast, okay? And to broadcast some events which are happening, so that the other application can come to know that yes, something has happened. So we can be sending the broadcast as well as we can be receiving the broadcast. So if you're sending, our intention is to inform other application or the system that this event has happened. When we are receiving, we are receiving or listening to the other events which has been raised by the some other application, okay? So broadcast receiver will be the component which will going to intercept this communication and will then take some appropriate action, like what is to be done if this event has happened, okay? So now this involves two step, okay? So first of all, I believe that now you understood what is broadcast receiver. Any doubt in understanding the broadcast receiver? Yes. Have you understood what is broadcast receiver?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now there are two steps, okay, in order to make this broadcast receiver to work. First is you have to create it. Second is you have to register it, okay? So when you're creating and registering, so first after you have, once you had created it, it has to be registered to the, you can say to the Android system, so that it can look for those events or those intents which is occurring to be observed. And once it is observed by the Android system, then it has to be notified by the Android system to the receiver class that yes, this event has occurred. So first we will have to prepare a broadcast receiver in such a way that it will look for some event, okay? What event it has been designed for to look upon, like for example there's a change in the network connectivity, or for example the Android device has been booted, or for example the device has changed into network mode to airplane mode, or likewise these are like system wide event, okay, which requires some listener or you can say some observer, okay? So first of all you have to prepare or create a broadcast receiver which will do the intended job or will look for the intended event, and that has to be first informed to the Android system that whenever this event will occur, you please respond to this broadcast receiver, which is going to look upon this particular event. So as an when those event will occur, your Android system will notify or will inform it to the broadcast receiver class, and then the receiver class will be able to perform the appropriate action. Okay, so these are the main two steps we can say we need to first follow in order to first have an inclusion of this broadcast receiver. Okay, so what are the steps? First is create. So how do we create? Okay, so just like how we create activity, because this is like also one of the component, but perhaps the job of this component is different. The job of activity was to show or host the user interface. Okay, but the job of broadcast receiver is to listen to some event. Okay, or respond to some event. So here we will going to have one class just like an activity class. Okay, but instead of activity, because if it had been an activity it will extend the activity class, but it is receiver, so it will going to extend a class called broadcast receiver. So this subclass my receiver will now be acting as a receiver class. Okay, and just like we have seen various lifecycle callback methods for activity class, the same way we have one callback method called on receive. Okay, so whenever this broadcast receiver will be notified, its method on receive would be called upon. Okay, and appropriate action that it was supposed to do will take place. Okay, so this on receive method has got two parameters. One is a context and other is the intent. Okay, so intent will going to carry what sort of event or what sort of intent has raised or has alerted this broadcast receiver. So this broadcast receiver was, let us say, supposed to listen for the intent, like suppose the action event, like the system event, like booted. Okay, the device getting booted. So once the device has got booted, that has to be notified to this receiver class, which is this class. Okay, so here this intent could point to the action event called boot. Okay, or the boot completed, you may say. Okay, and once it has occurred, this method will like eventually will get called internally. You don't have to do anything, but you just have to provide its implementation, like what should happen once this intent has been raised. So we, for just example, we are just throwing one message saying that intent is detected. Okay, that's the only thing we are doing here. But depending upon what job you wanted this broadcast receiver to do, for example, when internet has been connected, you wanted to resume the download, so maybe here you will write those lines of code inside on receive, which will going to start downloading the files. Okay, now after creating, once you have created the receiver class, you need to register. Okay, so there are two ways also for registering the receiver in manifest file. One is through manifest and one is through programmatic steps. Okay, which we'll see later. So first let us go by the easiest way of registering the receiver inside the manifest file. So as soon as you have created your receiver class inside your application, what will happen, its entry would be made inside the manifest file itself. Okay, or you can say automatically. But what will happen is, for what intention this broadcast receiver has been created, that you need to specify. Basically you need to declare its capability कि ये receiver कौन से event को listen कर सकता है. Okay, so that can be defined in the form of an action inside the intent filter. So this we had already seen in some previous session, okay, how intent filters are written and what they are meant for. So intent filters basically describes the capability of a given component. So here this component is a receiver and it is declaring the capability of that receiver, that it will be able to listen to this event, which is an action of, and the action is a boot completed. So when the device has been booted, this broadcast receiver class will get alerted, or you can say it will be invoked, wherein whatever is written inside its on receive method all will get executed. Okay, so this way you may have number of receiver class written inside one single application, and they may be listening to some sort of event. Okay, and now this event which we have mentioned here, it could be the Android system event, like the common events like boot completed, the network connectivity got changed, something like that, or it could be our own created, our own event, custom event we will say. Okay, so if suppose in my application I'm just going to generate some sort of an alarm after some interval of time, this alarm should be raised. So that's what I will going to write. So I will going to mention some other kind of an intention action here, but this time when you see this boot completed intent, it is an Android intent, but we can write, of course, the intent which belongs to our application, that is our package intent. So, okay, so but whatever it will be mentioned inside the intent filter like an action, what that defines what is the capability of this my receiver broadcast receiver class. Okay, so I hope you understood this two step. This we will write in Java, and this we will do it inside manifest file. Okay, so has this been understood, this two step? Yes. How to create and how to register the broadcast
Yes.
receiver? Okay. Now, after this, what we are supposed to do? So we have got the receiver object with us. Okay, I mean receiver class with us, and its event with to which it want to listen to has also been registered. Okay, so as I said, there are various Android wide event which our receiver class can listen to, and depending upon what we want to, we want our receiver class to listen to. So, for example, if in my application I want to monitor the change in the battery level, I want to monitor the event for when the device has been booted. I want to monitor if my users getting interrupted because of some call, or if some date has been changed. So my application is making use of system date and time in order to show or reflect the same into the UI. So whenever that has got changed, so that also to be notified. So likewise, there are many event. Okay, and depending upon that, you have got various constants. So you can go by choosing any one of the constant and register the your receiver against those constant. Okay, so it will then be looking upon those constant. But as I said, we can create one event of our own, and we can just be comparing inside this on receive method whether that event has occurred or not. Okay. So that is called as a custom event. So when you are in need to call and send, so here till here, we can take a decision of whether we want to go by the system event or a custom event. Okay, and in order to now, once you had created this receiver and registered, next step is to send this broadcast event. Okay, by calling the method send broadcast. So send broadcast can only be called with the help of intent. This we had already seen that intent is able to launch three component: activity, broadcast receiver, and services. And with respect to this component, the method gets changed when it is about to start an activity. So we will use start activity method. When it is broadcast, we will use send broadcast. Okay, and sometime we can also make use of send sticky broadcast. So in that case, what happens, what is the difference in this two broadcast method is that sticky broadcast is like stick to this, it sticks to the system, so it keeps on revolving inside your system until and unless it has got its action being attended. So it will keep revolving into the system. So for example, alarm हम लोग सेट करते हैं अपने फोन में, right? So until and unless your alarm is not being responded by user, it keeps coming and it keeps broadcasting. Okay, so that is how it is. So next is what we will just going to first prepare one implicit intent kind of a object, and we will set its action to some custom action. Okay, so this is like I'm just intending to look upon some notification. Okay, and when that notification has occurred, so I was just want to get some data displayed to the user. Okay, some content related to that notification should be given to the user. Okay, so I will say set action is equal to this. Okay, which you can see now is belonging to my application. So assume that the package name of application is com.example.broadcast. So this is my application custom intent which I'm sending. First of all sending, and then in on receive I will be receiving, and along with that it carries some data also. Okay, and with this two action and data, it will now going to launch the broadcast receiver. Okay, so which will going to run through this on receive method. Okay, and execute whatever is written inside the on receiver method inside the receiver class. Okay, so once the intent is used, you had launched, or you can say you had started the broadcast receiver. and you had also sent your custom intent along with some data that you would want. And as I said, there are two way that we can register for the events, or we can receive the events inside. One is the inside the manifest file, other one is the programmatic step. With that call, we call it as a runtime declared. Okay, registering the broadcast receiver during runtime. So one is this way, that inside manifest, you would going to receive. So receiving a broadcast or registering a broadcast is like one and the same, because until and unless it is not registered, you would not be able to receive it. So once the action has been defined inside the intent filter of your receiver element, then you would be able to listen whenever this event will occur onto your device. Okay, and then you would be able to respond to by writing some lines of code inside the on receive. And the other way is declaring it in runtime. Okay, so in that case also what we can do, so this becomes a static, or you can say this becomes the manifest declared intent filter, and this becomes the programmatic way. So we can create an object for the intent filter, which again going to accept what kind of an action that this receiver class will be capable of listening to, so that you will pass here, and you will call upon a method register receiver. So imagine that you have already one receiver object and filter attached to it, and sometime it happens, okay, we want to have some permission also being required to fulfill the action that is to be taken place. So we also need to define or get this permission before we go upon the action. And this is like a flag kind of a thing, we can say, just like we have seen when we call the intent for the activity, we have that method called set flag, and set flag was having some flag values like flag activity brought from background or front. So maybe, in that case, we don't want to see the activity running once the broadcast has been launched. Okay, so that is optional. And then we can go by performing the actual action that is to take place once the event has occurred inside our on receive method. So this is also one way of receiving the broadcast events inside your application. Okay, so now here, before jumping to the other topic, we will going to see all step-by-step implementation of broadcast receiver, right from its creation, then registering, and writing some meaningful lines of code. And also we will look how to send or receive or listen to some custom event and some Android event. Okay, or you can say system event. Okay, just give me a moment to share my or reshare my screen. So I hope it is understood. Any doubt that you have, you may ask me right now also, or otherwise, if demonstration could clear your doubt, then it would be good. Actually, before I joined, there was some problem in my emulator. It was not getting up. So just let me test it once, then I will show you. So meanwhile, I would like to say one thing, that in tomorrow's session, you come be prepared with a few concepts like till whatever we have done till today, except those broadcast part. So try completing, go through all those, small examples that we studied so far, so that what we will be doing, we'll be carrying out one programming activity wherein you would be given one problem statement. So it's like a kind of an MAD assignment, you say, MAD assignment. So there you would need to basically, solve that problem statement. So that problem statement would be like a combo of all the concepts that we have studied so far. So you need to figure out how to, use all those concepts inside your application. I mean, write the code for that. Okay. Mm. So I'm not able to launch my AVD. Just give me some more time. I would do it right now. Can you see this emulator screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So just imagine we have the small example, okay, which is saying send broadcast. So as and when we click on the send broadcast, so some broadcast event has been detected, okay. So I think I forgot to comment and run this part, because let us first go by looking at. So again, I'm just clicking on this send broadcast. So this has given a toast saying that some action is received, which is a custom action. Okay. So Android में ऐसा कोई नाम का ये नहीं है. What you say, the intent. This is our user created or our application created intent. So first we will going to look only that part of a code which deals with creating this custom event. So first of all, what we used to do when we want to have a broadcast receiver with us, so let me just show you a small video where mm, I don't have video offline with me. Okay, I'll show you here. So here we go and we create a new broadcast receiver class, okay, by just saying new, and somewhere here you find inside the other as broadcast receiver. So you can see already I have two broadcast receiver. One is connection receiver, my receiver. You just have to give a suitable name to your receiver class and just say finish. So once you do so, what will happen is you will get a receiver class created inside your application like this. Okay, so basically if I delete everything out from here, so this is what you get. Okay, so assume that the receiver object, the receiver class name is my receiver. So inside your package you would get one receiver class. Okay, and also you will get, wait, huh? Just let me do undo. Also what you will get here is one more component entry being done, which corresponds to your receiver class that has been created. So here is my receiver.java, which has got created after following that step. So which has created the receiver class and also created its entry inside the what you can say, this manifest file. Okay, so initially you would not have this intent filter, you would have only this much of code, that is receiver part. Okay, and here you would come and first mention what kind of an event. So you can do vice versa also. Okay, ये मतलब बाद में भी यहाँ पे आके on receive का code लिखने के बाद में भी you can write, but as a practice always write first. तो पहले क्या करेंगे, once the receiver class has been created, you will going to include what kind of an action or it is capable to listen to. So this is our custom intent example. So we would simply write action name is equal to com.example.br some action or some other action, whatever action you want, कुछ भी आप नाम इधर दे दो. It is just going to treat as one string. Okay, and what you will do after coming here, okay, this is our on receive method that I've shown on your slide. So यहाँ पे सिर्फ क्या करना है कि see here it is written to do. What you need to write, this method is called when the broadcast receiver is receiving an intent broadcast. So I'm just doing some simple work. I'm just recording this event in the logcat, and I'm also checking whether let me uncomment this. So I'm recording this inside what you say, my logcat, and at the same time I'm looking or I'm checking what is the intent, whether intent is the one which we have actually registered, and if that is received, then fire this toast message saying that intent detected. Okay, so this is only this much line of code which is already being written here. So the only difference is that instead of saying that some intent is detected, we are actually passing what intent is detected or received. Okay, so the intent which is we had mentioned, so this is like my similar receiver class with the name as connection receiver, and iske intent filter में I had written a two type of action. तो अभी के लिए इसको भूल जाओ. Okay, don't look at this. Okay, so assume that this was the event that this receiver is supposed to listen, and अभी के लिए I am blocking my receiver also. अभी एक ही receiver पे काम करेंगे, नहीं तो क्या होगा, मल्टीपल टोस विल बी देयर एंड यू वुड गेट कंफ्यूज. तो मैं अभी इसके लिए ये रिसीवर को कंप्लीटली आई एम डिसेबलिंग. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू वर्क विद दिस रिसीवर, ओनली विद वन रिसीवर, दैट इज कनेक्शन रिसीवर. सो दिस इज जस्ट आई एम शोइंग यू कि मल्टीपल रिसीवर ऑब्जेक्ट कैन लिसन टू मल्टीपल event and perform their intended action. Okay, so abhi ke liye we have only one receiver active, which is saying connection receiver, and which is looking or which is going to listen to the custom event some action. Okay, and uska sirf ek hi line of code hai कि like it will going to fire a toast message saying that whatever action or intent has been received, that is received. Okay, that's it, it will going to show. So that is what we have seen right now here. Okay, so we passed it and we received it, so saying that this action has occurred. Why I had shown you custom event, because you know जो भी हमारे एंड्रॉइड इवेंट है अभी, जैसे कि यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो, बैटरी लो, बैटरी चेंज, बूट कंप्लीटेड, ये सब अभी I cannot simulate here because we are on emulator, so it's really impossible to show all this. But perhaps one event that I can show on emulator is nothing but the, as a name suggests, the connection receiver. Okay, तो ये क्या करेगा, so it will going to detect the change in the network. Okay, so what we did basically, सेम रिसीवर को हमने दोनों इवेंट के लिए और दोनों एक्शन के लिए लिखा है. So it will be able to receive this custom event as well as this connectivity change event also. Okay, so when it is looking for connectivity change, तो क्या होना है, मतलब उसका मीनिंग क्या होना है कि यहाँ पे suppose if my network is enabled, okay, then it will going to show me some, I mean it will going to detect the change in the network whenever you know we are turning it on and off. Okay, so अगर यहाँ से if I suppose put it off, तो that has to be notified. Okay, or for example, if I had switched it on, so even that also has to be notified. You can see that it has already detected it. Okay, because of the code that it has written inside. So कमेंट मैंने रन करने के बाद में किया है, तो इसके लिए आप कंफ्यूज मत हो जाओ. तो मैं इसको वापस से अनकमेंट कर देती हूँ. ठीक है, I hope you're getting it right. So what we did, so here we haven't given any filter, we just got the intended action to be received, so we set it as received. But here what we did, we are receiving one Android system event, that is connectivity change. And if you can look at here inside the second action, which is saying android.net.con.connectivity change. So we are going to listen to the change in the connectivity. Okay, our internet connectivity. So whenever internet comes or it becomes active or deactivate, so that would be detected. Okay, so here, as you know, in the yesterday session itself, we saw how to declare or how to get a connectivity with the internet. So uske liye we have to go by this connectivity manager class, and we have to get the system services by providing the context of connectivity services. And since we are dealing with the change of a state in the internet connection, we have to first get the internet permission. Okay, so that is why this two set of permission, which is one having the access to internet, another which is having the access network state, like what state it is, so that is needed to be declared here inside the manifest file. And one more thing, if I don't remember, like in the previous demo that where we saw downloading of an image like SIS logo, I must have forgot telling this. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैंने नहीं बताया है, तो अभी मैं बता देती हूँ कि whenever you want to connect or have an internet services, so this is also one of the steps. तो ये चाहे आप पहले कर लो या बाद में कर लो, but you have to make sure that you're using some permission related to the internet. Okay, so this I had forgot to tell you, but now you can remember because the same lines of code we are again looking at for connecting or for getting the internet connection in our application. ठीक है, तो ये क्या कर रहा है, ये जस्ट इतना ही चेक करेगा कि whether our internet connection has got changed. Okay, और हम लोग अभी के लिए तो क्या है कि this basically where it is this connectivity change basically means from Wi-Fi to mobile data change. So basically we can actually get the status whether we are connected to Wi-Fi or whether we are connected to mobile data, and accordingly we can fire the toast message. But since it is emulator, तो अभी यहाँ वो possible नहीं है. So that is the reason what we can do is we can just say, record the change which is happening by putting it off and on. Okay, so when I will say when I will going to put off this internet connection, so some event is to be occurred, and when it is coming back alive, then the same broadcast event is to be captured or to be listened to. Okay, so abhi ke liye hum sirf as an example to understand how to listen to any of the Android event or how to listen to any of the custom event. तो इसके लिए मैंने एक स्मॉल एग्जांपल डेमो यहाँ पे यही कंसिडर किया है कि नेटवर्क का ले लेते हैं एग्जांपल. ठीक है, so now rest of the code is all we have seen previously. Okay, we want to, because we are looking upon the state of active internet info in active network. So we'll call this method get active network info, and we can this way also perform our check. Last time like I had asked you और I had shown you कि हम array में लेके उसको check कर सकते हैं. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि without array भी हम लोग कर सकते हैं. So just one variable, one object of type network info has got all the information of your network, and you can compare it against null. Okay, and you can of course call one more method like is connected or connecting. तो ये भी एक method है आपके पास available, तो आप दोनों तरीके से भी check कर सकते हो. ठीक है, not an issue. And if it returns, I mean if is connected is set to true, then you will say network is connected. Okay, or otherwise network is changed or reconnected. You can say something like that. And alternatively what has happened is even before that you had got the change in the connectivity, that this event this action you had already captured inside on receive, and you are receiving it. Okay, and you are saying that it has been received. Okay, so this is what we can do. Actually this toast message which was saying network is connected, अभी ये कल तो वर्क कर रहा था, अभी क्यों नहीं वर्क कर रहा, आई डोंट नो, आई हैव टू सी इट. ओके, सो बेसिकली वो क्या होता है जब लेट मी अगेन रन इट, आप जब चालू होगा तभी शायद वो आता है, एक ही बार आता है स्टार्टिंग में. लेट मी सी इट. Actually, yesterday I don't remember whether I had recorded it or not. If that has been recorded, then I can at least show you. But अभी वो record भी शायद मुझे याद नहीं मैंने किया है कि नहीं किया है. But it used to show, but only one toast. Okay, वो भी network is connected, because disconnected or reconnected state is not going to be captured because अभी ये real device नहीं है. देखो आया network is connected. Okay, I hope you would have seen network is connected. Yes, was it seen? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
ओके, तो मैं वापस से इसको ऑफ करके, थोड़ा वेट करना पड़ता है वो, क्योंकि वो स्टेट उसका जब चेंज होता है. ठीक है, तो
मैम आया था टोस्ट.
हाँ आया था, मैंने भी देखा, बट थोड़ा बाद में देखा, अच्छे से नहीं देख पाई मैं भी. तो ठीक है, हम लोग एक काम करते, थोड़ा देर रुकते पहले ऑफ करके और देखते ये वाला डिटेक्ट होता है क्या. बिकॉज yesterday आई ट्राइड अ लॉट फॉर वेटिंग फॉर दिस टोस्ट, तो वो नहीं आया तो आई गॉट फेड अप. बट सिंस दिस वाज गेटिंग रिसीव्ड, तो आई थॉट चलो एक तो हो रहा है ना, मतलब अल्टीमेटली हमारा पर्पस क्या है कि इवेंट ये होना चाहिए, डिटेक्ट होना चाहिए. तो आप लोग इसको चाहिए तो यू रन दिस कोड ऑन टू योर मोबाइल फोन एंड यू कैन जस्ट क्विकली ऑब्जर्व द चेंज. अभी देखते हैं थोड़ी देर के बाद. बिकॉज वो हमने वो भी लिखा हुआ है ना, टोस्ट डॉट लेंथ लॉन्ग, तो मे भी हो सकता है। अभी देखते हैं आता है क्या।
मैम ये लेंथ लॉन्ग और लेंथ शॉर्ट में क्या डिफरेंस है? लाइक
कुछ
मैसेज
भी
का लेंथ का
डिफरेंस
कुछ?
नहीं है, नहीं नहीं, वो टोस्ट कितने टाइम के लिए उसका ड्यूरेशन होना चाहिए। अभी रुको, मैं चेंज करके बताती हूँ, पहले ये वाला हो जाने दो, वो नेटवर्क कनेक्टेड आता है क्या। एक्चुअली yesterday तो इट वाज गिविंग मी वेरी क्विक, बट टुडे तो आई डोंट नो। कल ये पूरा विंडोज बहुत बार 4 बार अपडेट हुआ है, तो एमुलेटर ही नहीं लॉन्च हो रहा था पहली बात तो। बट इतना उसका इशू नहीं है, बट ये आएगा लेकिन थोड़ा लेट आएगा, अभी पता नहीं।
मैम ये वाईफाई का भी नेटवर्क चेंज डिटेक्ट करेगा कि सिर्फ?
Wait, sorry, I was drinking water and at the same time see it has shown network is connected. Okay, तो हाँ, क्या बोल रहे थे।
मैम ये वाईफाई पे कनेक्टेड का नेटवर्क चेंजेस भी डिटेक्ट करेगा कि ओनली
नहीं,
वो
अभी
टावर
अभी
वाला?
नहीं करेगा। उसके लिए क्या करना है, थोड़ा सा लाइंस ऑफ कोड और लिखना पड़ता है। क्या करना पड़ेगा आपको कि यू हैव टू गेट द स्टेटस। मेरे पास उसका एक लिंक है, आई कैन शेयर, और इफ टाइम परमिट आई विल कोड एंड शो। बट उसके लिए आपको कोड लिखना पड़ेगा, जहाँ पे क्या करोगे आप, you will look upon one constant and then see what state it is, if it is Wi-Fi or if it is mobile data, and then you can store it inside some string like status, और फिर उसको आप यहाँ पे ना टोस्ट में पास कर सकते हो। ठीक है, वो भी हम लोग करके देख सकते हैं अगर चाहिए तो, नॉट ए बिग डील इनटू दैट। आई मे गिव यू एज एन असाइनमेंट, क्योंकि अभी बहुत सब कुछ मैं ही करके आपको दिखा रही हूँ, आप लोग कुछ कर भी रहे हो कि नहीं, आई डोंट नो। सो अभी कल के लिए भी देख लो, सब ध्यान से सुनो, जितना भी हमने अभी तक का एग्जाम्पल देखा है, except this, today's demo. So you complete looking at all those small code snippet and come prepared. जैसे कि आपको क्या क्या आना चाहिए, let me just list out. You should know how to create activity. You should know how to design the activity using layout and view. You should know how to connect those activity, and what else हमने और क्या देखा लास्ट सेशन। probably internet का अभी there is no use, I think, as far as tomorrow's, and या फिर wait, हाँ, I need to think of what problem statement I had in my mind. Just give me 1 second, okay? I'll just look upon that problem statement so that मैं आपको बता सकती हूँ कि what else you have to prepare, or what all things you need to prepare. Just give me 1 second. ओके, तो आप लोग है ना इंटरनेट पार्ट तक का प्रैक्टिस करके आओ। ओके, बिकॉज what will happen, I may give two problem statement, one for one set of people and one for other set of people, so that more or less क्या होगा कि concept wise there would be similar number of concepts will be used. Okay, intent तक everybody would going to make use of till intent, so maybe it could be explicit intent or implicit intent, but intent तक सबको prepare करना है। And also if possible look at the internet service code. Okay, so internet connection के लिए हम लोग क्या कोड लिखते हैं, जैसा हमने लास्ट डेमो में, लास्ट क्लास के डेमो में देखा था कि we downloaded an image and set it to our image view. So that also you can refer that code you want to refer, because मैंने जो problem statement अपने mind में prepare किया है उसमें वो इमेज व्यू का यूज होगा। और बिटमैप का जो कोड मैंने आपको बताया था, लेट मी ओपन इट, व्हाट वाज द नेम, नेटवर्क कनेक्टिविटी। तो उसमें वो कोड यूज होगा आपको, मतलब जो भी प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट मैंने अभी सोचा है, so you would be making use of that part, ये part का, okay, image view का और bitmap का, and decoding वाला part किधर गया, that is also required. हाँ, ये तो ये एग्जांपल आप सिर्फ देख के रखो, क्योंकि इसमें से भी आपको कुछ ना कुछ फेच करना है, यूज करना है, एंड यू हैव टू कंप्लीट इट, ओके। तो इंटेंट तक कॉमनली सबको रहेगा, ठीक है। एंड फॉर अदर साइड ऑफ पीपल, अभी जो भी जिस लोगों को भी ये प्रॉब्लम आएगा इमेज वाला, तो उन लोगों के लिए उनको ये पता होना चाहिए कि यू नो हाउ वी कैन सेट द इमेज टू द इमेज व्यू, ठीक है। अभी थोड़ा तो हिंट मैंने दे ही दिया है, बाकी का आप प्रिपेयर करो, ठीक है। One more example I had for this broadcast receiver, just let me open that, which is like, you know, as I said कि हम लोग कुछ custom event के ऊपर action perform कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो let us quickly run and see this and then we will discuss कि इसमें क्या हो रहा है। So basically एक alarm type का ये है वो project, जिसमें you know after some minutes of interval or some seconds of interval, there would be broadcast event send, which will going to perform an action of generating, or you can say vibrating the device and raising the alarm with the help of alarm manager, ओके। तो अभी मैं इसका कोड अभी एक्सप्लेन नहीं करती हूँ, क्योंकि अभी इसमें एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया है, पेंडिंग इंटेंट, जो हम लोग नोटिफिकेशन के ऊपर जब जाएंगे दैट टाइम आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट। तो अभी के लिए यू जस्ट इमेजिन कि हाँ, देयर वुड बी यू नो वन इवेंट विच दिस रिसीवर क्लास इज लिसनिंग टू, and where is the manifest, okay, so here it is okay, so here it is like, you know, just kind of a what you can say, not any specific event or action we supplied, but just here after some milliseconds what will happen, this device will get start vibrating if you run it on obviously onto the real device, and you will be able to get this message that don't panic but your time is up, okay. So here after few number of seconds or whatever seconds that user enter, the timer will start or the counter will start, and it will say alarm set in 12 seconds. So probably you would get the alarm feature getting invoked if you run it onto the real device. And यहाँ पे just to test कि हमारा ये receive हुआ है कि नहीं, so we had fired one toast message like this one, okay. So this code I will give you, but you run it on real device and try to observe this. So basically what has happened, you know, this timer जो हमने यहाँ पे दिया था, that has been, this data has been passed to the alarm manager, and alarm manager has set this you know kind of an interval you can say, and after which this मैसेज हैज अपीयर्ड, जो भी आपको यहाँ पे टोस्ट में दिख रहा है। तो मतलब 12 सेकेंड्स के बाद में ही ये क्यों, मतलब ऐसा था अभी हमने जो पहला वाला एग्जांपल रन किया, सो एज सुन एज आई क्लिक्ड ऑन सेंड ब्रॉडकास्ट, तो तभी आपने देखा कि टोस्ट मैसेज आ गया था, इजंट इट, सम एक्शन वाला इंटेंट इज लिस्टेड। बट यहाँ पे कैसा है कि वी हैड मेड यूज ऑफ अलार्म सर्विसेज, अलार्म मैनेजर क्लास सॉरी, एंड वहां पे हमने एक टाइमर दे दिया है कि आफ्टर 12 सेकेंड दिस इवेंट हैज टू बी लिसन, सो दिस वे आल्सो यू कैन डू, ठीक है। तो अलार्म यहाँ पे सेट हो गया 12 सेकेंड्स, एंड आफ्टर 12 सेकेंड्स सो आपको ये आपका जो भी एक्शन परफॉर्म करना है आपको आपके रिसीवर ने, दैट वुड बी फायर्ड आफ्टर 12 सेकेंड। आई होप यू आर गेटिंग द फ्लो ऑफ दिस एप्लीकेशन, ओके। सो दिस इज बिन रेज आफ्टर 12 सेकेंड। अभी यहाँ पे आप अब अगर इसको और भी जो भी आपको दूसरा टाइमर देना है वो भी देके आप यहाँ पे ट्राई कर सकते हैं, ओके। तो ये थोड़ा जल्दी आ जाएगा टोस्ट, ओके। हाँ, अभी आफ्ताब को ये बताना था ना व्हाट ही वांटेड टू सी, लॉन्ग एंड शॉर्ट। यस आफ्ताब।
मैम वाईफाई का।
वाईफाई के लिए टाइम लगेगा अभी कोड करने में, तो
मैम
चाहिए
ठीक है,
तो
चलेगा।
नेक्स्ट टाइम चाहिए तो मैं कोड करके वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करती हूँ, या तो कोड का एक्सप्लेनेशन देती हूँ मैं, ठीक है, ओके। तो आई थिंक इनफ फॉर टुडे। सो अभी यूटी के लिए थोड़ा सा डिस्कशन कर लेते हैं, बिकॉज दैट इज ऑल्सो इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट। सो फॉर यूटी I think we can have till broadcast receiver. Okay. क्योंकि ज़्यादा नहीं है ब्रॉडकास्ट रिसीवर का, तुम्हें तो सिर्फ कॉन्सेप्ट पता होना चाहिए कौन सा तुमको बैठ के कोड करना होगा. So you just have to know the concept of broadcast receiver. So whatever is being taught till today, like from chapter 1, 2, and 2.5, we can say. Okay, in third module we are having the last part, that is notification. तो इसको थोड़ा सा हमको टाइम लगेगा कंप्लीट करने के लिए. And download manager. ठीक है, तो that means 2-3 sessions we will going to need more to complete this chapter. But for your UT1, the syllabus would be up to broadcast receiver. So I hope that is understood. Any doubt? कुछ पूछना syllabus के बारे में? Yes.
मैम यूटी
मैम
में कोई ऐसा मतलब कोड लिखने वाले क्वेश्चंस रहेंगे क्या?
एक तो
कि
क्वेश्चन
मतलब
रहेगा, एक क्वेश्चन रहेगा आपको wherein I may ask some simple kind of UI, इसलिए कल मैंने एक ये रखा है. पहले तो कल हम लोग जब ये सेशन में ये एक्टिविटी कर लेंगे, प्रोग्रामिंग एक्टिविटी, तो आपको खुद ब खुद आइडिया आ जाएगा. तो मैं उसके लिए एक गूगल फॉर्म गूगल फॉर्म नहीं, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट फॉर्म क्रिएट करके आई वुड आस्क यू टू सबमिट योर कोड एंड ऑल. तो इस एक मॉक जैसा हो जाएगा, क्योंकि एमसीक्यू अटेंड करने में तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है, बिकॉज यू नो हाउ टू अटेंड दैट. एंड वहाँ पे भी ऐसा आप एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो कि कुछ कुछ एमसीक्यू थियोरी कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर होंगे, कुछ कुछ एमसीक्यू जो होंगे वो आपके प्रोग्रामिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स पे होंगे. ठीक है, तो आपको जैसे स्मॉल स्मॉल कोड में हमेशा बोलती हूँ, लाइक स्मॉल स्मॉल स्निपेट्स यू शुड रिमेंबर. जैसे इंटेंट कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं, तो उसका लाइन ऑफ कोड आपको पता होना चाहिए. एंड इफ इट इज एक्सप्लिसिट इंटेंट, तो कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं वो पता होना चाहिए. तो वैसे आपको स्मॉल स्मॉल कोड, जैसे अभी एक्टिविटी क्लास